her name. Um, Maxine Waters. Why would she say, I knew she was going to get him? What did she mean by that? So she knew prior, prior, that whatever it is that went on, that you're using before he was a president, was all a setup for Maxine Waters to say that. We know full well, if I was a judge on the bench and you said that in my court, even a smuck of gesture, knowing the position that you hold and who you affiliated with as a demon Democrat, that's why I don't understand why all the judges were Democrats in the first place. It didn't make sense to me. Second thing is, why if I was a judge and she had even make a smirk like that, you know what I'm saying, and said that, you know what I'm saying, the first thing would have crossed my mind is that you knew prior, before, that E. Jean Carroll and Stormy Daniels and all that was sent or set up or whatever the case may be. Maybe Trump wanted to think around, I probably want to screw him myself. But at the same time, the setup, you know what I'm saying, is something that was set up somewhere in there. There's a setup somewhere in there. Same thing with E. Jean Carroll. For Maxine Waters to say anything like that, I knew she was going to get him. What? Oh, wait a minute. That don't sound right. Especially it being done before he was a president. During the time, I guess, when they was choosing that he was making up his mind whether or not to run for presidency or something like that in the mix of it all. And they didn't like him, was scared of him, whatever the case. He's a loose cannon, whatever. And his policies and this and that he was talking about, so on and so on. They don't want to help the poor people, nor the farmers, nor the veterans. They don't want to help they really don't want to help none of our fucking ass other than steal all the money and our taxpayers' money and everybody's money, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars and all this, and send to every war that they're fueling in the conquest of the planet Earth using NATO. This is why they're so interested in knocking out Russia, because Russia is a power play, just like their ass, just like the United States. And even those nations you call NATO. You know what I'm saying? Many other nations are with Russia. And I, as a black man, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to stand with Russia on this one. I'm not saying Russia is as squeaky as clean, but I'm going to stand with them because of the bullshit in which you are doing to exacerbate nuclear war. Boom. So when Maxine Waters said that in the interview, when I don't know where she said it, I saw it. You can look it up. And she said, I knew she was going to get him. Means that you knew that you set him up. So he's the victim, number one. You see? By weaponizing or should I say politicians, you know what I'm saying, using secret and crooked and conniving methods in order to demonize someone even before they will become a president. And the onslaught has been ever since. So for you to say that you knew that she was going to get him means that that was a part of one of the setups. And for him to have to pay Stormy Daniels off to keep her mouth shut, somebody must have said something. Oh, you know, Stormy Daniels must have emailed him or something and said, you know, I'm probably going to write a book. I think she said write a book or some shit like that and this and that. And she was going to, you know, write a book and it would expose a lot of things. So I guess he said, no, don't. And he paid her off to keep her mouth shut and not write a book and so on and so on, 130,000 according to what he was saying. Which is a lot of money, but not a whole hell of a lot of money that couldn't be paid back by Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? So for him to pay her, you know what I'm saying, to keep her mouth shut, then Donald Trump was being set up again by his sexual pleasure of extramarital affair that he had outside of his wife. Huh. I don't know. But we need to look at that more carefully before we make judgment on calling someone, you know what I'm saying, a convicted felon for having an affair with an adult actress. I would like to have I don't know about an affair with adult actresses, but I like to have sex with every single thick ass one of them they got up in there because I ain't no fucking punk. Like Obama, you know what I'm saying, like fucking Bill Gates, Andy Fuck Fauci, the murderous weasel, and the rest of the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? I'm not with that shit. You know what I'm saying? You could keep the gay part with the gay games. Give me the women. And don't give me no woman, no man that turned himself into a woman and deceiving men. Just give me I guess the dykes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever you call it in the game. Let me bring them over and bring them back to men. You know, bring them back to loving men. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever the game will be. You know what I'm saying? I knock them all out. Fuck it. You keep the gay shit, the transgender shit, and all that other shit over there with you. That's good for you. I'm all about what a man's supposed to do in all ways. You know what I'm saying? And was born to do. You know what I'm saying? In all ways. But when we look at that whole situation with Eugene Carroll, we see that, you know what I'm saying, for you to sit there and call him a convicted felon, he ain't no fucking faggot. Donald Trump is not no damn faggot. So why wouldn't he want to have sex with a beautiful woman in general or an adult porn star? This is looking to be very silly and suspicious in many ways, and many of this stuff took place before he was a president. And you have been bashing, it seems like, ever since. So we want to see Eugene Carroll in the department, the dressing room. It is no answer that Hunter creepy ass Biden is also a convicted felon. But wait a minute, it shouldn't just be creepy Joe Biden's son, little Hunter creepy Biden. It should be Biden as well. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Hunter Biden is not running, but then he said a convicted felon. And then it says Biden is also, it's no answer that Hunter, creepy little Biden, is also a convicted felon. Hunter Biden is not running for president. We don't give a flying fuck because what you have infected the motherfucking show with is your son. He was not to be involved. His name was not to be called as many times at all or in conflictical garbage of government business across the motherfucking sea and involved of connection of NATO. And Zelensky, crooked, broke-back bitch, fucking Madame Blavatsky, Alistair Crowley, L. Ron Hubbard, crooked Luciferian invasion of the whole motherfucking planet. Clown! Fuck is you talking about? That's not an excuse. Because that tells us that you should have never elected this creep. Because the apples don't fall far from the tree, bruh. And every tree, every apple that grows on the tree grows because it's an apple tree. It's not going to bear grapes or pears. So that is his son. So whatever foreign affairs that he took care of, you know what I'm saying, over for him, itching me like that. You know what I'm saying? Over for him didn't show much of overstanding in any shape or form. What it shows was how a group of people, I guess Zionists or whatever deep state shit they running with, can cause wars across this planet and then try to weasel out by saying he went over there on an energy deal. And then come to find out all the different stuff. He's convicted on having a gun. He's convicted, to me, he should have been convicted on smoking crack, just like he did Mayor Marion Barry. You know what I'm saying? He was over in Ukraine, over there in Ukraine, and over there with Russian people who probably don't like Putin, giving Zelensky millions of dollars and giving him the okay green light, like they just did to be shooting up in Russia and carrying on with this Luciferian biomedical, you know what I'm saying, Armageddon bullshit. So whether Biden, creepy little Hunter Biden, is not running for president or not, it is an affiliation and an infection of his presidency. Period. So don't give me that slide out excuse, because we even know that he was using his father as the backbone of driving the deal through. You know what I'm saying? So that excuse don't work with me. You garbage, then, just like you garbage. Now, on Trump's place in history, the historians rate Trump the worst president in our 233-year history. That's another lie, wordplay, and straight bullshit. Bullshit. What about Richard Nixon? Didn't you say that about Jimmy Carter too? Didn't you say that about many of these presidents? You know what I'm saying? So how he becomes the worst when creep Joe Biden just backed a genocidal behavior, talking about God and God's chosen people, when they're over there raping, killing, murdering, destroying, still killing the fucking people, and the rate must be up to 60,000 people or 100,000 people already been killed by this bald-head fucking cocksucking looking bald-head jackass you call Netting jackass. And what does Biden do when this breaks out? Rather than get a settlement on it and a cease, you know what I'm saying? Because there's ways of doing that. You know what I'm saying? So we know that there was an orchestration to break open the war and team up with the United States to take over the region all the way through Saudi Arabia. You see what I'm saying? So we're looking at this. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But you sitting up there talking that bullshit, talking about he's the worst. Biden is the worst president Obama and Biden is two of the worst presidents, just like Richard Nixon and Henry Suckballs Kissinger. Jackass. He was another racist son of a bitch. And he was garbage in our government. Fuck you, let him in there. Just like you let Soros in there talking about philanthropist and Billy fucking ball sucking Gates in our food and every fucking thing, and feeding people Crosdale products and generic with trans fat and all types of chemicals, even corn syrup in ketchup. You know what I'm saying? Using corn syrup and different corn, and rather than using the right ingredients in the ketchup, anything to give people heart attacks and many different health conditions. Don't give me that bullshit. Creep Joe Biden is the worst president, along with Creepy Obama. But right now he's calling himself a president with his cheating ass, because he's not to me. He's an illegitimate, sworn-in, cheating piece of trash. You know what I'm saying? And he has caused war on all our doorsteps, not just across the seas. You know what I'm saying? And the demon Democrats are accused of every fucking war that we have ever had. They were involved. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at even over here in the United States, you know what I'm saying? He brought the war to your doorsteps. How did he do that? By simply preaching open border policy on his debate trail, along with Kamala and all the rest of them cocksucking motherfuckers, calling themselves demon Democrats, and would be backing a policy such as that. And then let into the country, not just from South America alone, from Iran, Iraq, China, and every place, every enemy that you can think of that they have been ramping and running with. You know what I'm saying? They led into this country through the southern border and the northern border. We're up there with Trudeau, balls licking ass. Probably a fucking faggot as well. Sorry to say it. A punk. Talking about some motherfucking Trudeau. And he led them through the border like crazy. Meanwhile, he up there what do you call it? Mandating and you know what I'm saying, and then giving them the Whopper television, and then telling them this and telling them fucking up the supply chain to where the truckers had to make a stand. And then they closed our business on these truckers, even though they had good business going. I forgot what state it is, and just left the truckers high and dry. Probably because it was against the bullshit that you were involved in, probably. You never know. You know what I'm saying? But to say he's the worst president, that's a fucking lie. That's a lie and wordplay and trickery game of reverse psychology that I've ever seen. A 4-year president is the worst president in 230 years history of presidents who had 8 years, who have had, much of them had 8 years and were reelected and this and that and the third. And they were tyrants. They were tyrants. Just like you have when you go by some of these statues and shit. I don't care whether or not you left the statues up there, but write the truth on the statue of what the fuck he really did. Then the statue could remain. Talk about how many African people that they murdered, how many African people that they enslaved and lost their life to slavery rather than a life of tranquility in their own land where you should have left them in the first fucking place. And the same thing go for them Arab, Mohammed, and all the rest of them different people. You owe Africans a death. And that's a fact. So any statues that y'all build, or any books or Bible that you have, I don't represent nor have any affiliation with them outside of the fact of proving a point in itself. I am not following that. I am an American, live in America, and I'm considered an American citizen. I'm going to obey the law, and that's what I'm going to do. But as far as your religion, what is Islam, what is Christianity, what is Buddhism, what is the Dalai Lama, and all types of religion that you have all across this planet, I don't follow none of them. None of them. The only thing I follow is that of my people in which I can see. So the discovery and the glory of my people must be, because it speaks for billions of years for itself. And that's a fact and point blank. So while you sitting up there saying he was the worst president, you're not wagering or doing any research into the demon democratical garbage that Joe Biden just did, along with signing many executive orders plus Article 2.13 and many things like that, you know what I'm saying, to the point that you would not see the destruction coming to the United States or already here, just not set off yet. Just like there was no Black Lives Matter a minute ago. And then all of a sudden, they popped out of nowhere. At great proportion, wrecking and destroying businesses in the United States. In the affiliation of ramping up a Capitol Hill riot in itself. Because once the riot situation is going, now the acceptability of the people at the White House and all over would be acceptable to say there was a riot and have been trumping up. But what Trump mentioned in his campaign is that he even sent National Guards and told them to send National Guards, and he even said peacefully and patriotically, and many of that was said that he said was true. Nancy Pelosi is Sergeant at Arms. She was responsible for the security at the White House. Why didn't she do her job? What stopped Nancy Pelosi, crooked ass, skeletal looking ass, from securing the White House? Is the question. You see? But you gonna get up on this debate, right? And try to say that Trump did that and Trump did this in all ways. This is what you're trying to do. When the truth is in the pudding, and he did not. He spoke up to secure the White House. You know what I'm saying? And at a certain point, I mean, how much was he going to send out across the street to the so-called I forgot what he said, hall or wherever it was where Trump sent the National Guard to clear them out. You know what I'm saying? He was already falling from grace based on misjudgment and judgment of criminality in all ways of a setup and many other things. So to further exacerbate the situation, it was already too late. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the demon Democratic setup was already in play.